Hello and welcome to Monday with Marie. We used to do this. I don't know why we stopped, but we're doing it again. So welcome. So actually, I got some questions that were sent from some people. So I'm going to read these questions and answer them. So Chad T. Hi, Marie. I'm happy Monday with Marie is back. If you could design a game to teach a work skill, what would it be? I would design a game to teach receiving feedback. And so the thing is that people really struggle with receiving it. We do a lot of trainings, people have mentors, people spend a lot of time giving feedback, and they're great at giving it sometimes, but not so great at receiving it. So what I would do is I could create different levels that mimic real life scenarios where feedback is given, and the players could choose on how to respond. Points could be awarded for open mindedness, asking questions, and constructive follow up activities. And to make it a little bit more interactive, I would root it in some emotional intelligence. So that's what I would do. And so Catherine G says, what's your go-to strategy for pricing your consulting services? Do you go with value-based pricing, hourly rate, or something else? And how do you know when it's time to revisit those numbers? That's a great question, Catherine. So I would say value-based pricing. It underscores that you're focusing on transformation and solving not just the immediate problem, but helping the client to solve their own problems for a long-term gain. And I'd like to point out some advantages for value-based pricing, Catherine. It aligns well with the idea that you're offering customers a solution that goes beyond just fixing the one problem. It's a long-term impact transformation that hopefully your consultancy brings, and it rewards the actual value provided rather than the hours that you put in. So think about it this way. Let's say a customer gives you a project that only takes you 10 minutes to do. Well, the truth is, it doesn't just take you 10 minutes to do it. It actually takes you all the years of experience, all the learning that you have, all the mentors that have helped you, that have shaped you. So let's say it's 30 years of experience that helped you create or complete that task in 10 minutes. And so that's why you don't want to do hourly pricing, because then you're shortchanging yourself. On the flip side to that, what if the project takes you 30 hours to do? No one can afford 30 hours of work on something. So again, it's more about looking at the value that you're bringing, and then that's how you connect it to the price. Now, it's not all rainbows and unicorns, all right, setting up price. It can be very complex. It requires a really good understanding of the client's needs, the market rates, the unique value propositions. But once you get it right, it's a win-win for everyone. So the second half of your question really was around, and when do you know when it's time to revisit those numbers? Well, here's a few signs. Market conditions. So you need to constantly be checking on the market conditions to see if there's new competitors in your space, economic fluctuations, value add. If you've added a new service, if you've added a new product, that's also a really good time to check in and maybe change your pricing. On the flip side, if you've the other is client feedback. So this one's an interesting one because I have a lot of colleagues that really do use this. So if a client frequently says to you, wow, your service is so inexpensive. Your service is really affordable. I'm getting such great value and I don't have to spend a lot of money. You want to rethink your pricing there because maybe you're actually pricing it too cheaply. On the flip side of that, if you're losing clients because it just costs too much to work with you, they love you, but they just don't have the budget for it, and they're not willing to find the budget for it, one, and you're not really giving them value for what they're paying, and two, maybe you're pricing it a little too high. So client feedback is a good opportunity to be able to think about redoing your pricing. The other are profit margins. If your costs are going up, but your prices haven't, that's a big red flag. So you want to always make sure that you are maintaining a healthy balance so that you can have a healthy profit margin. And then time. This is the one that I do, and a lot of experts always say you want to reevaluate your pricing on an annual basis. That's always the best practice. And depending on your industry or the market volatility, you may want to do it with more frequency. It might be a quarterly thing for you. So really, it's based on, when you're looking at the conditions, the market conditions, the value add, client feedback, and profit margins, and of course, timely. That's when you want to reevaluate pricing. And pricing is not a one and done, it's a living thing. So you really want to make sure that you're always thinking about your business model. Is it the right business model for the current economic conditions? Full disclosure, we're going to a subscription-based model. And I've been really excited about that. And that's been really fun to do and to work on. So that's something that, again, we're looking at. But again, Catherine, I think value-based pricing is always the way to go. What value are you bringing to the client? That's what you need to price it on, not how many hours you're working with a client. So our next question is from Unknown. Well, okay. Hi, Unknown. If your consultancy was a famous band, what would you call it and why? That's a funny question. I would call it my alchemy bromance. My alchemic bromance. I think it's fun. It's kind of memorable. It encapsulates the blending of transformation, relationship building, and the magic that goes on with the work that we do at Prime Alchemy. And it incorporates our name. So that would be my band name if I were naming a band. Not to be sexist, it's just I don't think I can do like sister. Bro makes much more sense. Bromance, it's kind of in the vernacular. So that's why it shows it. All right. So our next question, what's the most memorable life-changing experience you've had that has an impact on your work? I think I have quite a few memorable experiences that have impacted my work. But I would say the biggest thing would be an accounting teacher in high school, my junior year of high school. Hi, Allison. I think that would be the one that I would say has the most impact in memory. And why is that? Well, this particular accounting teacher in my junior year, the first day of class, she put together this box for each of us. And then she just handed each of us the box as we came in. And she said that in that box contained everything that we would need to be able to balance the books for our client. And then throughout the course of the time we had this class with her, she would teach us accounting principles, but in the background of that, we would be working on our box. Now, we couldn't take our box home. We had to work on it in school. So that way we wouldn't get someone helping us with the box. And this is before cell phones and laptop computers. And I will tell you, I took this accounting class, not necessarily because I thought, oh, I want to take accounting. My girlfriend at the time, Amy Boykin, she knew that she wanted to do business. And so she decided that she wanted to take an accounting class. And so she wrangled her friend into taking an accounting class with her. And I'm grateful for Amy for doing that, honestly, because a couple of reasons. One, it really emphasized the idea of experiential learning, because we were not just learning the concepts, but then we were using what our teacher taught us to actually work on this box. So, and it was fun. It was fun because you felt like you were doing something real. And I think that sat with me throughout the years. And so as I thought about my business and what I wanted my business to be, um, that honestly was part of the idea of really niching into game-based learning. I think was from this accounting class. So that's one of the most memorable experiences that I've had. All right. So last question. Last question. Our last question comes from, oh, Susan. Hi, Susan. Okay. So Susan's question is, you always talk about the importance of building emotional intelligence into programs. What's some fun ways you can build emotional intelligence exercises that don't feel childish? That's a really good question. Because a lot of times, I think the pushback that I always get with clients before they have the experience is, oh, this is going to be childish. Oh, it's games. It's just going to be this fun, 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 and no learning. And I think that the thing we have to remember is that from the very beginning, as humans, we learned through play. We didn't learn to walk because our parents gave us a manual or gave us a lecture on how to walk. It was through falling and failing and having fun that we learned to walk. And that's really how we learn all major concepts that we've retained, is through that idea of play, the experience. Around sixth grade, we sort of lose that. And we go into this rote system of learning that some people are great at and others are not so good at. And so it's really important that we begin to think about, when we're talking about emotional intelligence, it's one of the 7 intelligences that we have. You know, the IQ, which everyone talks about, is just one of 7. And so emotional intelligence really speaks to how we relate to each other. And the key is, we at work, we're constantly dealing with humans. And so we have to be able to learn, how do we relate to people? How do we connect to people without losing ourselves? The simplest way to do that is through experiential learning, through play. And so what you need to do whenever you're building a framework for games is that you always need to have a good intro. You need to explain to people why they're about to experience what they're going to experience. In doing that, it helps them kind of get into that mindset, because a lot of us have been taught we have to be serious all the time. And when we are kind of conditioned to be serious, we struggle with having fun. Those of us that have children find it a little bit easier because we remember the experiences of watching our kids play and playing with our kids, if we played with our kids. And so it's really important, whenever you have games, activities rooted in emotional intelligence, that you do the setup. You really explain to people why they're about to experience it, because that helps them understand it's not play for play's sake. And that's where people struggle, because they feel like sometimes in trainings and in workshops, it's play for play's sake. And you want to alleviate that fear. You want to say, no, we're not playing for play's sake. There's a purpose behind it. At the end of this is our outcome. And then after you've done the game or activity, you really want to do the debrief, because it's in the juice is in the debrief, where people get to have those aha moments. And you see those light bulbs over their head. That's where the juice is. So that's all our questions. We're almost at time. I want to thank everyone for watching. If you're watching live, thank you for watching live. If you're going to watch the replay, thanks for watching the replay. So every Monday around 11 o'clock, we're going to do Monday with Marie. So send questions. They can be fun questions. They can be serious questions. And my goal is to answer those questions for you, and hopefully start your Monday with some food for thought. So as we leave, I just want to say, have a wonderful rest of the week. It is the 1st of October, the 2nd of October, I should say. And that means that it is the beginning of Q4, which is about reflection for what you've done over the past 3 quarters. It's about preparation for the next quarter, which will be the beginning of the year. And it's about closing out your year, making sure you close it out with a bang. So have a wonderful Monday, and I will see you next Monday.